Good morning, sixth graders. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I've just brewed a delightful cup of tea, and I would like to go over our summative with you. So if you're so inclined, make your own cup of tea and let's get to work. You guys are going to start on Monday, continue on Tuesday, and finish if you need to on Wednesday, our first summative of online schooling. Now, I know for some of you, summatives were super stressful, and the idea that you're at home and I'm at my home makes it more stressful for you. So before I go over this summative, I want to explain to you how you can reach out and get help if you need it. So step one, watch the video. Remember, you can pause and rewind me if you have a question or you're confused or you need me to repeat something for you. You can email me, you can message me using Google Hangouts, or you can join me during our 12 p.m. Google Meets. I'll be hosting office hours Monday and Tuesday instead of lunch bunch. So you can just pop in and ask a question between 12 and 12:30. You can read something to me and see if you're on the right track, whatever is going to make you feel most comfortable. Okay, so as I'm going over this summative, if you start to get really nervous or panic, please know I am here to support you. My goal with this summative is to help you show off what you've learned with World War I, because we've spent, oh my gosh, 7 or 8 weeks studying this together online. And I want you to have a way to improve your overall grade. So let me explain how that's going to happen. This rubric, as I wrote in the directions, should look familiar. This is exactly the same rubric you used with your Reconstruction one-pager. Remember, Reconstruction is that time period after the Civil War when we're trying to put the country back together again. Now, this is a double whammy. It's like a buy one, get one free. This is going to count as your World War I summative, and as you prove successful with this summative, it will replace your Reconstruction summative grades. So this will count as a reassessment as well as a summative assessment for World War I. This is great. This is going to help those of you who had a 1 or a 2 in critical thinking or literacy. Remember, to meet that standard for critical thinking, you're going to analyze key moments in history by determining goals, problems, successes, and failures. I actually removed the goals portion, but if you want to, you can add it in. I'll explain that in a minute. To stretch to 4, you can make connections between the past and the present. Okay, so I'll show you that on the summative in a second. For literacy, you can include evidence to support your thinking to meet that standard. To stretch to 4, you are going to accurately cite evidence and defend your thinking. So it's going to look a little bit different. It's going to be written probably a little more lengthier, more detailed. Your word choice is going to be stronger. There's our girl. That Bitmoji is always here to support you. All right, so what does this summative look like? Well, here's your task. You guys should recognize this. Like I said, I took out goals because I thought that one might be harder, but you have 3 options here, and you only have to complete 2. You also note you only have 2 things you have to do instead of 3. So I've cut down the amount of analysis that you need to do, mostly because we weren't together for this unit, and also because we have a very different time limit with you guys at home. So I wanted to make this completely manageable with time to spare so you could read over your work and make sure it's 6th grade quality. So you're only going to complete 2 sections. You get to decide between problems, successes, and failures. Let's say you are Alex Osgood, or Johnny Gillis, or Riley Lancey, and you've been studying World War I forever. You could, down to the bottom, if you right-click, insert row below, and it'll give you a whole nother section. And if you wanted to do goals or what were the biggest people who impacted the war, what were the greatest technology changes, what battles had the biggest impact, you could add that. Is that expected? No, but some of you are going to want to have a little bit of fun with this, and that's totally fine. But for most of my 6th graders, you're going to focus on problems, successes, and failures, and you only have to do 2. You're going to write in complete sentences, and you have to add evidence to each response. So I'll give you an example in a second, but you're just going to click right in because I've made a copy and just type. Now, maybe you hate typing. I'm sorry for you. If you hate typing and you have a printer, you can print this out. You could do it on a separate piece of paper and take a picture and upload that. I think your best bet, your easiest bet is going to be to type right into this, but do what works for you. And again, if you have any questions, just reach out. So what were the biggest problems the country faced during World War I? What were the greatest successes of World War I? What were the biggest failures? Now, some of you right now are like, I don't remember anything about World War I. When did we talk about World War I? So I want to bring you back to Google Classroom. If you click on the classwork tab, you'll see it's broken down by weeks. So you can click on anything. So here we go. Animals in the trenches, how animals helped. So you could rewatch that video or read over the comment that you already wrote and see if it fits in here. I had you write comments about different parts of World War I for the last couple of weeks, so you already have your first draft written. Some students have not used their time wisely. So some of you have other stuff going on. Life is happening. It's a pandemic. And your comments were not sixth grade quality. They were not complete sentences. They had spelling issues. They had all sorts of problems. So if you copy and paste your comment into here and it doesn't look sixth grade quality, you need to revise that. But you have some really great stuff started already. So we have animals here. Thursday, we talked about the sinking of the Lusitania. Okay, you could flip up here. We talked about you could use Winnie's Great War, of course. Let's see, what did we do on April 7th? Communication. So you guys can just kind of go through and go shopping through all the stuff that we've done and copy and paste those responses right in here and then revise and do some magic. If you're going to stretch to 4, it's a completely different section. So 1, 2, 3, only do 2. That's going to meet the standard for critical thinking. And then as you add evidence, that'll either meet or exceed the standard for literacy. This section is your stretch to 4 for critical thinking. So this is when you think about why it is important for students in 2020 to study World War I. What lessons can we learn as Americans from this time period, and how can they be applied today? If you think about some of the questions I've already asked you during our World War I unit, you have also started to think about this question. As I say in school a lot, there's always a method to my madness. Winnie's Great War, every video clip, every example of propaganda, everything I did over our online school was a stepping stone to this summative. So if you're entering into this thinking, I have no way, I don't even know where to start, set a timer for 10 minutes, go to Google Classroom, and just read through some of the comments you made. Because as you do that, you're going to realize that you've already started this summative. Let me show you what I mean. Okay, I did some examples and I'll post this in Google Classroom for you as well. What were the greatest successes of World War I? Here's my example, friends, and look at what I did. Teamwork during World War I was very successful. Right now, a light bulb should have gone off because you should have remembered that earlier in this unit, we spent a whole week talking about teamwork. You already have stuff about teamwork typed and thought about. But let's see what my student example says. Teamwork during World War I was very successful. Men signed up to fight, women worked as nurses to help wounded soldiers, children supported their families, and even animals helped out. In the book, Winnie's Great War, we read about Winnie a Bear who supported, Canadian troops. Laundry's ready. Who supported Canadian troops and later became the inspiration of Winnie the Pooh. So you'll see I TTQA'd. I talked about why teamwork was successful. I gave some evidence, and then I cited where I got some specific thinking from. Okay? That's all you have to do, friends. Let's look at failures. A major failure of World War I was shell shock and how it was treated at the start of the war. In watching the videos Miss Wolf posted, that should not be an apostrophe, it is clear that the constant barrage of shells and machine gun fire greatly impacted the mental health of soldiers fighting. At the start of the war, rather than treat shell shock as a mental illness, soldiers were punished for being cowards. This was a major failure during the war. So again, I TTQA'd, I gave my example, how we treated shell shock, and then I stretched to 4 here and talked about how it was from one of the videos that my teacher posted. Okay? These examples are going to go right in Google Classroom. It's under example. You're all going to get a blank one of these. And then remember, please go shopping in the classwork that's here already. I know you're ready for this. I know you're going to be successful. And I'm already so proud of you because you guys have done incredible work over the last couple weeks. You have really analyzed World War I already, and this is just a great way for me to give you credit for everything you've been doing. I want to make sure that the gradebook reflects what you've been doing at home. If you're overwhelmed, if you're concerned, if you think you want somebody to just check in with you, remember there are multiple ways to do that. You can see me during Google Meets at 12 o'clock on Monday or Tuesday. And those are open office hours. So if at 12:15 you have a question, just pop on in. You can email me. That's totally fine. And if in that email you say, can I meet with you with Google Meets? As long as I don't have another meeting scheduled, I can of course meet with you. If you have a quick question, of course use Google Hangouts. That chat feature has been super helpful for so many of us. All right, friends, I look forward to seeing what you come up with. Remember, this has to be turned in by Wednesday so I can get grading. I hope you have a wonderful day, and don't be shy if you need any help. Bye, friends.